They call me Dick, but you can call me Dick.
Hi guys, my name's Barry and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review for Ghoulies from 1984. This is an old film, so I'm going to be doing some spoilers in this review. So if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to be spoiled, then don't watch the video. But if you don't mind spoilers, or if you've seen the movie, then continue watching. Jonathan inherits a house that holds a dark past, and for some bizarre reason he decides to do a seance at a house party, and that's when strange things start to happen. As he does the seance, he summons these little ghoulies and he tries to get them to help him find out what happened to his parents. At the beginning of the film, Jonathan's just a baby and his father is trying to sacrifice him to do this occult ritual, but his mother doesn't let it happen. She puts some sort of thing around his neck to stop that from happening, and then the groundskeeper Wolfgang takes him away and he's the one that brings him up. 25 years later, he inherits that house and he moves into it with his girlfriend Rebecca, but she doesn't like what he's becoming. As the powers take over Jonathan throughout the movie, he accidentally summons someone called Malcolm Graves, and we find out that that is his father. As Malcolm becomes more powerful, Jonathan's friends get picked off one by one. The reason that Malcolm's trying to take over and kill Jonathan, he wants to remain youthful, so that's why he's trying to kill him and anyone else that gets in his way. The groundskeeper Wolfgang isn't just a basic groundskeeper, he was tasked to look after Jonathan. So at the end of the film, it becomes this kind of Star Wars-like film when it's Wolfgang versus Malcolm. After Wolfgang defeats Malcolm in this hilarious fight, all of Jonathan's friends come back to life. Characters in this movie all wear sunglasses at some point in this, and it's quite off-putting, and I had to look it up, and it turns out that the reason they were wearing sunglasses was they were starting to film this movie in 3D, and the cue was anytime the cast members put sunglasses on, the audience would have to put sunglasses on as well, but within 2 or 3 days, they stopped recording it in 3D because it would have cost too much money, but they left those scenes in, and that's why it looks a little off. There was a hate campaign when the Ghoulies came out because parents, whenever the parents' kids saw the posters for the Ghoulies sitting on the toilets, the kids wouldn't go to the toilet and they were too scared to go to the toilet. Ironically, the toilet seat hasn't really got anything to do with the movie, it was just a marketing ploy, but it's something that definitely worked. Looking back in this film, I think the nostalgia definitely played a part in making me believe that this was a really good film. It's not, it's a really bad movie. I don't think it has got any redeeming qualities apart from the aesthetic look to it, because it is a mid-80s horror film, but apart from that, everything else is terrible. The acting was actually quite decent in it. We had a young Mariska Hargitay from Law & Order, and we had Ralph Seymour, who was in Just Before Dawn as well. So the acting in the film wasn't bad. It's sometimes a little corny, but that's due to the dialogue and the script. But other than that, the acting was actually pretty solid for the type of film that it is. Another thing that wasn't too bad was the practical effects, and you would expect that from a mid-80s horror film where they don't use too much CGI. There was some dodgy CGI with the demon eyes that they had, but apart from that, it was mostly practicals, so I'll give them props for that because the practicals were actually pretty decent, and also the Ghoulies themselves were decent, even though I felt like I remembered the Ghoulies playing a bigger role in the film, but the Ghoulies themselves were only really there to serve their master, Malcolm. Overall though, guys, it is a terrible movie, but I always find myself going back to the Ghoulies after a good 5 or 6 years, maybe forgetting how bad it is, then thinking to myself, do you know what, I'm going to watch it again, maybe the nostalgia will keep it going, and it does for maybe 10-15 minutes because aesthetically, like I said, it looks good, but apart from that, after you see what the story is about and everything that unfolds, you start to go like that to yourself, oh, this is not dated very well at all. So I will say for this film that nostalgia is a very powerful thing. So what are your thoughts on the Ghoulies after 40 years? It has been 40 years now since this movie came out, and that's something that I took into consideration when doing the review here because it is a 40-year-old movie. But for 40 years old, I would have expected a little bit better, and I didn't get that. But what are your thoughts, guys? As always, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon.
Meeting adjourned.
Be right back!
What are you waiting for, huh?
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Ever played in the cat? Someone's in the back seat! Tell me where you are, John!